feel like when I first started doing these trainings, all these trainings online, I'd change my outfit for the afternoon and change my hair, and now I'm just like, oh, as long as I'm clean. It's hard, it's really, isn't it? As long as I'm not offending you with my looks, it's okay. Okay, so I drew a card for us, and don't remember if you remember that band about doo-wop, do-do-do-do. He looks a bit like him. My daughter Levi used to like him. She was a toddler at the time, so that just shows it must be in the 90s. No, it won't be the 80s, early 90s. You know, so anyway, it's not them, but he looks like them. So gentleness. So Archangel Sandalphon, and this is for all of you. Be very gentle with yourself at this time. Surround yourself with gentle people, situations, and environments. So you're in the right place. Okay, so let's have a chat about restorative. So you've already got, I've put the PDF in for how you would sequence and the way it's set up in poses, so you can how you can figure it out. I think you know intuitively as yoga teachers what postures would work and what wouldn't work, and you need to practice them with props before you can teach them, so you can have an understanding of them. So there's some that you wouldn't teach in restorative. Most of the standing positions obviously are deep back bends. I have seen in some restorative, or it's more Iyengar kind of styles, where they're doing a restorative camel. I have seen it before, and yeah, it looks very nice, but I think from a trauma perspective, it would give you the panicky feeling. Basically, you would be flat up against, so you're coming up against the wall, and then you have a chair, so one of these metal chairs, and then the chair has loads and loads and loads of cushions on it, and you're holding onto the chair to give you support, but you're supported by all the cushions. So there is a support there, but you've got the wall across here. But I think if you're opening up here and you're squashed up against, it can give you that feeling of being contained. But if you find that works for you, you can work with it. I think figuring out, it's quite fun to think to yourself, I'll have an afternoon or a morning of restorative yoga with myself, and figure out what you want to do, where you want to take yourself, what sort of poses you want to do, and then you'll figure out what works and what doesn't work. So yeah, I wouldn't teach a restorative camel to anyone online. Perhaps if you're in real life and you can really prop people up and keep them safe, but getting people to go up against a wall by themselves and try and figure it out, it's really not going to work. There is some restorative yogis that will teach some restorative active postures, and so they would be perhaps there would be the Supta Virasana, and also there would be that camel. But also you would see some would have a supported Uttanasana. And this could be where you've got loads and loads of blocks. Now, most people, the thing is, this is if you've got, this is more like some of this stuff, the Iyengar stuff, you need to have a studio full of stuff. Most people don't have loads and loads of blocks. Most people have a lot of books. But by the time you get all your books out and then put them all back, it's a bit like traveling an hour and a half to go to a yoga class and doing your yoga class. And then by the time you travel back, you've almost lost the vibe. So, but you can, I've got 3 blocks here. And yeah, so you can have it just as Uttanasana, resting like this. And it is quite relaxing, and you are stimulating the vagus nerve. And you can do it with a Prasarita Padmottanasana as well. So that is something you can incorporate, but you wouldn't do it. It's a bit like the supported downward facing dog as well. You wouldn't do that as one that you would do for 3 to 5 minutes like you would do with a lot of them. That would be like for moving through the poses or setting you up for them. So that's it. Uttanasana. You can pop a Uttanasana in there. I'm trying to figure out which ones. As I said, in the manual, I've popped in some pictures, and the one that I say to stay away from and not do, and I shouldn't have put it in the manual, and I'll remove it for the next time, is the picture of the man with the belt around his neck, holding himself up in Supta Dandasana. Perhaps, I think, perhaps that might work in some classes, but for neck issues, and I would not say that's too restorative. That would be, yeah, I think that would traumatize me doing that anyway. I don't know about you. So you'll have noticed in the manual as well, there's Makarasana, not Makrasana. But it depends on what lineage you're coming from. I call it Makrasana, but I've put in Makarasana in because it was from somebody called Sandra Anderson, who is saying about the vehicle of Varuna, the god of the ocean. The Makara is the vehicle for the ruling energy of the second chakra. So Makara is also known as, it's the crocodile pose, Makrasana, but Makara means mythical sea creature. So there you go. So I quite like, I love learning about the yogic mythology as well. But if Makara is the vehicle for the ruling energy of the second chakra, it's a posture that you could incorporate even though you're not really working with it. It's energetically working in that sense. So you have different variations of Shavasana. As we've said, there's the chair Shavasana, where you can rest your legs on your calves on the chair. You can have it where your legs are raised in the sense where you've got it's a bit more raised and you've got your feet against the wall to make you feel really supported. Armchair Shavasana, or just general Shavasana in a sense so you can really figure out what works and what doesn't work and where you want to take them. Again, Balasana, you can have things in front of them to cuddle in and have it wide-legged, to really cuddle in. And then I like to put the block underneath the bolster so you can get your arms right underneath. But we also have done the Balasana child's pose with a block just there. And, before I told you about the ocular cardiac nerve, you might have been like, oh, this is just silly. Why are we resting our heads in a little block here? But yeah, so that's one. So it's going to be quite, it's going to be good for rejuvenation, stress, anxiety, to do Balasana with the block there. Supta Baddha Konasana, yeah, you've got propping yourself up. But then there's also working with the belt. As I said, I'm rubbish with this belt malarkey. Maybe my karma is I was a rubbish belt maker in my last life. I'm not sure. My daughter Kaya keeps bashing her teeth out and doing stuff. We always think, she said root canal treatment 3 times. We do think that she maybe was a naughty dentist in one of her past lives. Such a shame. So she's dealt with it very well. So yeah, so you come into you're going watch me try and do this. So yeah, you've got your belt and you're taking it so that you're going to be holding, so you're coming into it, so you're going to be supporting that's it. So supporting your hips, I need a bit tighter. So it's like a bit of a circle. So it's just so that your legs aren't hanging out there. So if you're not wanting to put, try it if you want. If you've got a belt, it's actually, if you find Baddha Konasana quite tricky, I found this is quite a nice one to do. Instead of placing loads of blocks underneath, you can still place loads of blocks, but it stops them from hanging out. So So yes, you've got the circle round the tops of your ankles and over the front, and just hooking your knees over the top. And it gives you a nice support in your, so you can work with it in Supta Baddha Konasana, or you can also do you know, against the wall as well, when you're lying down and you've got yourself in that position. Okay, so as I said before, keeping your arms supported as well. Trying to figure out what else. So Supta Virasana as well, knee issues, make sure there's lots of props up, and if that's not working for them, just get them to go into Supta Baddha Konasana. Anything to do with SI joint injuries or sacroiliac stuff or sciatica stuff, you want to try and keep, and postnatally as well, I would say, try and keeping the hips, the pelvis stable by not doing too many open poses in the hips. So yesterday we did something to try and, so more like stabilizing the sacrum. So have awareness in keeping the sacrum and the pelvis, you know, like together if there's a lower back issues as well. Okay, so trying to think, so Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. Yeah, I've demonstrated lots of different varieties. So you can use blocks, you can use them in up side. So there's 3 different ways. Use loads of cushions or use a bolster for bridge pose. And same with coming into supported Sarvangasana, your shoulder stand. We're going to try and do a supported halasana today. So that'll be interesting, trying to teach. I've never taught that one. I've done it many a time, but I've never taught supported plow pose halasana online before. There you go. So it's the first. So restorative forward bending as well. So seated forward bend, Paschimottanasana. Remember, as we said, you know, propping up and using lots of stuff. And, you know, as I said, if you're trauma aware, be aware. You know, if somebody has been in a car accident, they might have like something, if people touch their, you know, if they've got pressure on their legs, it might make them feel, be aware of that. Or they can go and have the chair and lean into that. You can prop it up as much as you like. And the same with Upavista Konasana. That doesn't look so good, does it? So Upavista Konasana, upward facing angle pose as well, and then coming down into that too. So it's really about, there's not too much. So as you can see, sometimes you can have a bit of a brain block on, oh my goodness, props, I won't know what to do, you know, there's something extra to remember. It's just about being playful with it all, keeping yourself and keeping others safe, being clear with your like clarity of speech, and knowing what you want to do with them and where you want to take them, but also giving them the autonomy to make decisions for themselves and what feels right. Downward facing dog, as well as doing with the forehead thing, you can also get them to do it with their feet. You know, if they can't get their heels down, this is a nice one to do for you, just to stretch out. So you've got your heels against the wall. And another one that I do with my pregnant ladies, supported downward facing dog. So you just come into down dog, lean against the wall. So for my extremely pregnant ladies, they're not going to be able to they don't really want to be coming into huge big downward facing dogs, but down dog against the wall is great. So I found as well, you know, if you're going to do a little bit of that, you can get them to, so a lot of people that are stressed or anxious, they're holding tension in their neck and shoulders, or the shoulder area. And also this is good for your opening up the lung and heart meridians from the Chinese medicine perspective. So basically just taking your hand, so you will do it this way. So you're just going to come to the side and just take your hand back and just work into what feels right for you, and just get them to stay there for just a little bit to help to open up in the shoulders, but not too much, because you're not really stretching or straining. It's just a slight opening. So while they're there, you can get them to do that. Okay, so it's working with what feels right for you. What do you incorporate into your practice? And you know, if something doesn't feel natural when you practice it, is it going to feel natural when you teach it? So you need to figure out what feels right for you. And if something doesn't feel right for you if you practice it, but you think, oh, I've been taught it, or I should do that, don't teach something you really don't feel comfortable with. Okay. So downward facing dog, there we go. So there's different variations, and you can also, if you've got one of these metal chairs, hold on to the metal chair as well, doing downward facing dog. So there's various different variations. In a younger yoga and some restorative, they have these special props that you can do headstands. But most people don't have one of these props where you can set it up with these chairs and all these blocks and things like that. But I think if you're teaching online, you just shouldn't be teaching restorative headstands online. If you're not there to support your students, then I think that it's not safe. So I'm just going to say, don't. Headstands are very complex. So trying to teach in a restorative class, the values, it's maybe a bit too udana for your practice as well. We don't want too much ascending prana. We want to work with more of the apana and the samana values as well, if we're wanting to bring restoration and balance into our bodies, which would be more the forward bending stuff. And you can do maybe a little bit of lateral stuff just to open up and give you some enthusiasm, and just a little bit of some gentle twists as well, to help to assimilate. So we've got legs up the wall as well, forward bends. Yeah, and then we also have the fish pose as well. And I don't think I've taught you the fish pose yet. So I think I've taught you the fish pose as a counterbalance from a shoulder stand on your universal healing practice, I think, but not as a restorative. So you can practice it, and this is the thing with them. I've seen it being practiced with various different blocks and things like that. But I don't practice this, so I'm not going to be very great at teaching it, because I've got a broken neck. So I'm actually not going to demonstrate in case I damage my neck. You can use blocks, bolsters, support your neck, support yourself up in fish pose, if that is something that you want to practice. I don't incorporate fish into my practice because of my broken neck, but yeah, you can try and get it into your practice, in the sense that, there we go, I'm supporting my neck here in some sort of variation here, but work with what feels right for you, and there's no reason why you wouldn't include a restorative fish pose into your practice. It's just something that, for me, I can't, with online, I can't keep everyone's neck safe, and I can't keep my own safe. I can't really demonstrate, so apologies for that. So the good thing is, with restorative, is it's not complex. So normally there's like this sequence needs to do this. It's about, now you know what breathing techniques work, how to, which ones you should incorporate for anxiety, depression, or with stress in general, or for the vagus nerve. You're aware of like which asanas are best, how to keep yourself safe and how to keep your students safe, about being aware of your tone, the clarity of speech and the words you use. And I think that's really, in a nutshell, like really how to teach restorative, but how to teach trauma-informed yoga. So you've got lots of different, you've got more tools to add to your kit now, hopefully. But as I said, this is, you know, this is the last day, but it's not the end of the journey. You know, your group's always going to be open, and I'm always there for you. The next stage, so I'm telling you all this before we go into a restorative, because you'll be all like, when we go into it. So the next stage for you is, I've posted the last of your exam papers, the quizzes, exam papers. They're not heavy. So if you work with these and send them to me, and your assessment is, I find it easier for my students to record it and put it onto a YouTube channel. Now, you don't have to go public with your YouTube channel, it's free. If you record it, and when you get to save it as unlisted, which means that you can share the link. When you share the link, we can get access to it, but no one else can. So the public can't. So you can get to choose between public, listed, public, unlisted, or private. You go private, nobody will be able to see it. But it's nice for you guys to share your different authentic teaching selves. So some of you might want to teach a restorative, you might want to teach something that's yoga for stress, yoga for trauma, but I don't want you to teach just a generalized class like, oh, there we go, and mix up and make it brown. I really want you to have a bath or a theme and a reason for the breathing techniques, or the asana, or the type of practice you've chosen to share with us, the type of meditation. So just a little bit, a little bit of writing next to it or with it, for me to have an understanding of why you've chosen what you have, instead of just teaching a little random restorative and put it in as your assessment. It's just for me to know that you've got an understanding of holding the space, in a sense. So you've got up to a year to complete, so there's no rush. You don't have to worry. And if you've got any questions about the course or about your exam papers, you know you can speak to me at any time. Okay, we can arrange a video call, or if you're up in this area and we're not in lockdown, I'm happy to meet you. I'm actually delighted to meet you for a coffee, to tell you the truth. Yeah, so let's get going with our last class of the evening, our last class of the whole of the training. It feels weird. It does feel like it's been more than 4 days, actually. I don't know about you guys. It's been, I feel like I've been sharing quite a lot of stuff. You know, I've probably told you too much about myself. You've been like, oh my goodness. Okay, so let's get ourselves here for our practice. So the practice that I've written out for you today is one on forward bends and inversions. Okay, so this one is good for relieving headaches and nervous tension. It's good for balancing the hormones, stretching the hamstrings, and lengthening the tractions in the lower back. You're not really want to stretch hamstrings in a restorative class, obviously, but because it's a forward bend, you are going to in some sort of way. But we're not actively wanting to stretch our hamstrings here. But so this is suitable for beginners to intermediates. Okay, so you would use this to rest and renew at the end of the day. to cool the body, and also to cool it in your mind in hot weather as well, or whenever you're feeling tired or in the need of some self-nurturing. So this is good for menopause, if you got the hot flushes. It's also good for pitta doshas as well. Okay, but it's good for all doshas, obviously, because it's restorative. So we're going to begin by coming into a seated position, closing your eyes, shoulders back and down, and just checking in with your breath, breathing in for a count of 4 and out for the count of 4. So closing your eyes and just coming into your body and your breath. So life for most of us is fast and we're all rushing about. There's nothing wrong with rushing, but we humans don't do sometimes rushing, we do constant rushing. We do the relentless on-the-go rushing. It's as if we believe that stopping, slowing, or calming will cause instantaneous death. And guess what? It won't. It's the only thing that will die is the strain you're holding on to. So ask yourself, what am I running away from? If you ask this question enough, you'll discover it's you. You're running away from you. You are lovely. You are fabulous. And you are important. So why don't you feel lovely, fabulous, and important? It's because you're rushing around. So it's time you mentally click the stop button, click the big red stop button, and let's begin with our yoga practice. So we're going to begin with Viparati Karani. So I'm bringing Buddha down. So you're coming up against the wall, finding a bit of wall there, and getting your props together. So setting yourself up so you're going to feel nice and comfortable. You can tie your legs together as before. You know, so you can really help. It really helps to stabilize the sacrum. So it's good for anyone with lower back issues by tying around the tops of your knees. It really allows your sacrum to feel more stable. So you can take your arms over your head if you need to. Just get yourself settled and comfortable. Relaxing your jaw, your shoulders. And coming into pure breathing. So as you inhale, feel your chest filling with prana. And as you exhale, your navel is going in and up. It's just really pure yogic breathing. Letting go of the day. Just enjoying where you're at. Be aware of sounds far away. Be aware of sounds nearby. Don't be attached to what the sounds are. Just be aware that they are a sound. Just observe. Observe sensations in your body, different parts of your body that are touching the floor, the props, the wall. Start to be aware of the breath moving into your nostrils as two separate streams, entering in and meeting up together near the midbrain. And as you exhale, they separate and go down to two separate streams out of your nostrils. Bring awareness to your breathing. And every time you breathe in, as you bring the prana in through the breath, it starts to illuminate your brain. Be aware of the difference in temperature of the breath. As you breathe in, breath is cool. As you breathe out, it's warmer. Let go of the breath and just be. Feeling the illumination and the healing pulsation in your midbrain, your sense of self. Slowly bringing yourself down. We're going to move into our next posture. We're going to come onto your mats, on your backs, and we're moving into Supta Padangusthasana. So let me demonstrate. So making sure you're going to be propped up, and make sure you've got like a belt or something if you don't want to be stretching these hamstrings too much. So lying on your back, keeping your right leg stretched out, the belt over your left leg. So make sure you've got enough props here for when you open up. You're just going to stay here just for allow your femur to settle into the hip socket. And then keeping your right foot flexed and gently opening up and allowing yourself to come down onto the prop so nothing's hanging in the air here, and you're not pulling with that arm. It's just giving yourself a sense of support. You feel a strain in the inner groin, you might want to prop yourself up a little bit further. Take more cushions underneath the knee or the thigh, because you're not wanting to put any strain or stress on the connective tissue here. So really listen to your body. Slowly taking that leg back to center and gently taking it down and coming into just a mini Shavasana. Just feeling the difference. Readjusting your hips slightly perhaps, and moving from side to side with your sacrum. And then drawing that right knee towards you, placing the bell underneath the instep. Keeping the shoulders and the jaw relaxed, and just allowing the femur to rest into the hip joint. So make sure you're propped up for the other side. When you're ready, allow the leg to come down. And you can, if you like, I've got a window here, this is why I'm bending my knee. But if you feel it takes the pressure off your inner groin, you can bend the knee here. Remember, it's not about the form, this is about the function. So work with what feels right for you. So if you want to sit in more of a froggy shape, if froggy shape feels more restorative to you, be a froggy. It's all good. Breathe into your belly. Slowly taking that leg back up. And then gently and slowly releasing the leg, and draw both knees up towards you into Apanasana. Feel your belly into your thighs as you breathe. And slowly rolling onto one side and gently pushing yourself up. So moving into one of my favorite ones is supported child's pose. You've got your bolster, or you've got lots of cushions, don't worry. Don't feel like you're missing out if you don't have a bolster. I've been teaching yoga and practicing restorative for a long time, and I've only just recently got myself a bolster. So get yourself comfortable, either having your block underneath, or just get yourself in your supported child's. I'm going to stay in here for 4 minutes. So, we need a little bit of nurturing and love and support. So get yourself nestled into your props. Just breathe acceptance into where you are right now, in your body, in your life. And know that you are lovely, you are fabulous, and you are important. You are lovely, you are fabulous, and you are important. Change the turn of your head if you're looking one way. So from here, gently and slowly, bring yourself out of the position. I'm going to move into a supported Uttanasana, standing forward bend, but we're going to do it with a chair, or if you've got, if you've got bed, or if you've got whatever you are, we can work with this, okay? So you can work with propping up as many blocks as you want here if you want to. So it's very much about just allowing yourself to come down. So it's even more supported by using, can you see me here? Yeah. By using a chair and blocks. So you're really not putting loads and loads of effort in here, because we don't really want too much effort, strain. So abdominal breathing. Make sure you've got some comfort there. You all right there, Miriam? The black in your block looks like it's annoying you. And your bottom's looking lovely there, Ellie. I know I'm not supposed to say about you. You're my friend, I'm allowed to say. And your trauma teaching, I'm not supposed to say stuff like that, but this is the teacher training side of things. I wouldn't say that in a class, don't worry. Okay, so we're going to take this a little bit further, moving into Prasarita Padmottanasana. So basically what you're doing is you're going to try and go a little bit lower. So you're widening your legs and coming forward. So it's a wider forward bend. So you feel a difference in your body here. Make sure you're not holding tension in the knees. You can bend the knees slightly here. Your jaw, your shoulders are relaxed. It does feel very different to the way we normally practice yoga, if you're not used to practicing this way. Smooth Ujjayi breath. Slowly and gently bring yourself up. Okay, you can just stand just for a second, just to check in with yourself and bring awareness to your feet and the ground. Just stop any lightheadedness or low blood pressure issues. A lot of these things are to help with high blood pressure, but some yogis, and I've got very low blood pressure naturally, and so sometimes coming up from deep forward bending can make you feel lightheaded. So coming down onto your mat into cross-legged position, we're doing lots of vagal nerve stimulation here. So you're coming into cross-legged position. And again, we're working with the blocks a lot tonight. So if you don't have a block, or make sure you've got a big book or something. So you're going to have a supported, your cross-legged forward bend here. So you're working with taking your arms down and resting your forehead down here. So again, if sitting forward in cross-legged isn't feeling so comfortable for you, you raise your hips or you put things underneath, or remember that I taught you with your blanket to wrap the blanket around the ankles. It stops your ankles, so it supports your ankles and stops any ankle pain. It's a really nice support actually, to get the blanket and wrap it around the ankles. You really feel supported in that sense, because sometimes if you're in cross-legged position, your ankles can start speaking to you, and your ankles are related to the hip joint as well. So knee issues related to the hip joint, but sore ankle issues, your ankles ache, it's coming from your major joint. So get yourself settled and comfortable. Again, you're really going to be very aware of that your third eye this evening, your inner teacher. And make sure the back of your neck is long to keep your mind calm. Slow, smooth, deep breaths. Change the cross of your legs. And coming forward again. Be aware of the difference in sensations there, but don't be attached to them. Observe and let go. If you find one side is easier than the other, and you feel you're actually putting stress on the joint because your hips are achy, you can place. So my knee just now needed that extra bit of support. So it's not cheating to go, wait a minute, if I go forward, I feel there's a stretch or a strain on my joint. You can come back up and give yourself some props. So then you can actively relax instead of stressing the joints, because this is not where we're at tonight. Slowly bringing yourself back up. Just checking in with yourself. I'm going to move into a supported Setu Bandhasana, and we're not going into the bolster. If you don't, a lot of people don't have bolsters, but if you don't have blocks, do what you can with cushions or whatever, but we're going to try and use a block, depending on which kind of block you want to use. And so this is working with what feels right for you. Obviously, I've got neck issues, so I want to support my head when I lie down. So figure out what works for you. And then what you're doing is, again, you either just, it can be really quite supportive and nice to just have that large part across the sacrum. If that's just where you want that sacral support, it just feels so beautiful and it opens up in the womb area. Or you can take it up to the side, which gives you a little bit of a back bend and also opens up the chest slightly. If you want, you can take it even higher. I wouldn't advise that for just now, because that's not the type of practice we're at right now. So I would say one of the two, and I'm just going to have the lowest today, because I really feel that nice, settled secureness of the large part of your block supporting my sacrum. So if you want a little bit more of the lift and a little bit more of the back bend, you've got things to do tonight, work with where you're at. Be aware of the belly rising and falling. If you need to support your arms as well, you can put blocks underneath or cushions underneath your arms, support your arms. Slow, smooth, deep breaths. Slowly allow yourself to come back down. And then gently pushing yourself up. And we're going to move into Shalamba Halasana, supported plow pose. So as I said, it's something that I've not taught online, and I probably wouldn't advise you to teach it online, because it's if somebody's new to yoga, they have the potential to hurt themselves if they don't set it up right. So you're using the chair again, and you're going to, so I've got my blanket, so they're really going to try and support my neck, so I can give my neck some support here. You can place some cushions or blocks, or even your bolster. Let's put my bolster up here, for where your legs are going to go as well. And finding that space. So it's finding the space where you're going to place your head. Oh no, I need to take off my hoodie here. Finding your place where your neck is feeling supported, And then the aim, so you can use, the aim is to try and come up, but make sure there's no pain in the neck. So your blanket should be able to support you. And you take your arms over your head. If you do have a tape, you do have legs you can hold on. If this isn't feeling good for you, so you can get your bolster as well. I find that this helps when I'm in this, to place a bolster underneath, just to give me that little bit of support. It's almost like, so, and then holding on to my bolster, you know, so it's almost like I'm hugging myself in and keeping myself safe in Halasana. So putting the bolster, putting something behind to tuck yourself in that way. So I've got a blanket underneath my neck to support my neck here. And I've got a bolster underneath my back, and my legs are on top of here. Now, if you students they've got neck issues, or they've got a chair or something like that, again, you can get them to come into supported shoulder stand. So they just take their legs up, or they can come. You can come back into Viparati Karani, or just don't use that posture. It's maybe not for them. So be aware of your belly when you're breathing. Don't want to have your breath restricted, so be aware of the smooth, deep, slow breath. Close your eyes if you like. There shouldn't be any discomfort. Any discomfort, pull back or take your legs up and release your legs from the chair. Find what works for you, where you feel supported, nurtured, and safe. When you're ready, you're slowly and carefully coming down, moving to the side first to come down. Making your way back onto your mat. And just coming onto your hands and knees. And what we're going to do, just to balance out, or just to counterbalance our necks, you're going to look to the right and move your hips to the right, as if you're trying to spot your big bushy tail again, and breathe into that. Take your head back to center, and then looking over your left, and bring your hips to the left, as if you're trying to spot your big bushy tail. Okay, let's repeat that one more time. And going the other way. And then just, if you feel you want to, move into a couple of cat-cows, just to give your cervical spine, just allow it to be neutralized in a sense. So less emphasis on the lumbar curve and just a little bit more emphasis on the cervical spine here. Sit back on the heels, stretch your arms out in front of you. And then we're going to prepare ourselves for armchair shavasana. So get yourself nice and propped up as much as you can. So armchair shavasana, you're wanting to set up some sort of armchair on your mat. So you're going to support your arms, your support underneath your legs, underneath your ankles, your legs, underneath your knees. You really make sure that you're going to be propped up as much as you can. Really give yourself as much support as you can. Just get all settled, ready and prepared. I need to find my poem for you. Okay, so once you're all settled, just start to connect with your golden thread breath again. As if you're breathing out beautiful golden thread. Then letting go of the breath and allowing yourself to sink. So this being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honourably. They may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. And remember, you are lovely, you are fabulous, and you are important. Starting to bring your awareness back into the room, back into where your body is lying on the floor. You're going to begin to make any movements that feel right for you. And then rub your hands together, creating some heat in your hands. Place your hands over your eyes. Send some healing into your eyes from your hands. Connect back into your breath. Even breathe in through your nose. And slowly allowing your hands to come down with your eyes open, starting to bring awareness to what's going on around you and gently coming up to seated position. So we're going to end this afternoon with a Gayatri mantra, call and response. So as I said, don't worry, I've not given you the words intentionally, just so we can feel it experientially. And I'm going to post the Gayatri mantra into your group. So don't worry if you don't know it, just it's the taking part that counts. So we're going to do it as call and response, and we're going to do it little by little, and then we're going to try and do the full thing. Okay, so I'll say something and then you repeat back. So you can close your eyes if you like. It's up to you. Here we go. Om Bhurvasvaha. Om Bhurvasvaha. Tatsavitu Varenyam. Tatsavitu Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Yo Naha Prachodayat. Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha. Om Bhurvasvaha. Tatsavitu Varenyam. Tatsavitu Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Let's do it all together. Om Bhurvasvaha. Tatsavitu Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha. Tatsavitu Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha. Tatsavitu Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha. Tatsavitu Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Bhurvasvaha. Tatsavitu Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Yo Naha Prachodayat. Namaste. Thank you for practicing yoga with me today. I'm going to switch off the recording and see if you've got any questions.